The following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Sweet sassy Molassy, the Raptors put a whooping on Golden State and then got the weekend off before a busy 5-game week with 2 back-to-backs, a week that pretty much decides if the tankathon is on full blast. I am here as always with Kieran Smythe.
Happy Easter.
And Ben Harrison.
G'day, g'day.
And this is Brendan Hodgins. You can follow us on the podcast for Twitter and Instagram at HoopBallRaptors. And then you can follow us individually on Twitter. We're Ben at Benny and the Raps, Kieran at K_Dilla, and myself at Brendan Hodgins. And then also please head over to hoop-ball.com. That's hoop-ball.com for all of your basketball needs. That's the mothership. They have everything you could ever want if you're trying to follow basketball. You got betting, fantasy, DFS, whatever it is that is your basketball thing, they got it there. Well, that is a perfect example of Golden State's version of, well, let's just fire that one into the sun and never talk about it again. Yeah. They were up by, I think, 61 points at one point, the Raptors. Yeah. More than doubled them twice, I believe. So, Kieran, was there something in this game in particular that you actually think might be useful data?
Well, I mean, it's a good game to sort of see what people can do when we're not faced with much opposition, I guess. No Curry, no Draymond even, so it's not like this was a full-strength Golden State team or anything. So, but you know, OG, Siakam, they were still taking it to the net, not just settling for jump shots. So that's good to still see. Although we lost. One of the few things we lost was points in the paint, pretty significantly, 26-50.
The other way around, I think.
What do you mean?
Let me see this. Raptors had 50.
Okay.
Yeah, that would have been hard to hard to believe with the final score.
There we go. So that's, good to see those guys taking it. Trent still looking comfortable, hitting shots. Pretty big game for him, so that's positive to see. Just generally, hopefully this is a confidence builder. That's all you can kind of hope for is, everyone had an okay game with the exception of Stanley Johnson. But so it was, we did kind of what we were hoping to do, but although, that was just monster game. What was Trent's plus minus? He set the best record for the Raptors.
54. They've been talking about
crazy.
Do you guys remember when we were all excited about Lowry having a 42 and how that was the second highest ever for a Raptor? Yeah. And then 3 guys beat that this game.
Crazy, yeah. Stanley Johnson, the only guy with a negative at -7. Just 20 minutes.
Yeah, he's quickly becoming our new pinata here on the show, right?
Yeah. Well,
I have
keep having games
been
like
that guy before. When your team wins by like 50 points or something in rugby or football, but you fumbled the ball twice or something like that, and you're just sitting there on the sidelines, the only one in a bad mood. It's not a fun place to be.
I saw a comment on, I think it was on the YouTube, one of the YouTube videos I watched on this game, and it was said that the Raptors turned the difficulty down to rookie at half. And that's kind of seemed like what happened,
The 2K1 setting?
Yeah. That was insane. But we got some good minutes out of Flynn. I like to see him sort of separate himself from everyone else on the bench who didn't really do much. So that's kind of a positive for him. He needed a kind of game like that, and we got that out of him. But like you said, not too much you can take from this and apply to other games because this was not your typical game. So, but it was good to see. Got to
eat. The best thing I saw on Twitter was like, geez, these guys can't even tank right, Like it was just what on Thursday we were calling, we'd all kind of finally come to terms with it, right? All right, let's start tanking, go for a better draft pick.
Still well on board though.
And then me too. But I mean, it's like okay. And then 24 hours later, they go out and just put a hurting on Golden State, and
someone took offense to that podcast. Somebody on the Raptors somewhere.
Someone was listening. But all due respect to Jordan Poole there, who was filling in for Steph Curry, but that's just really not the same team at all without him, for sure. Not the same to watch either. A little less entertaining for sure. But.
Yeah, I'm sure that game was really only fun for Raptors fans to watch. Golden State fans would have turned that off, and no one else in the league would have cared, or no fans of anyone else in the league. So yeah, it was a great game for us, but it wasn't good basketball. It wasn't a competitive game. There was no NCAA, you know.
No, and I had completely forgotten Andrew Wiggins was on that team, and completely forgot. He came out hot. He had 11 points in the first quarter, but then not much else the rest of the way. No. And he's, of course, depending on who you ask, either the pride of Toronto or the biggest bust in Minnesota history. So, but
I still wouldn't mind seeing him come home to play for Toronto one time in the near future before he's like past his prime. But I could see it being a good environment for him, and he could help out coming off a bench or something. But he had definitely had much higher hopes than what he's amounted to.
Well, he's available every offseason, so he might have a shot.
Yeah, who knows?
He's one of those interesting players where he obviously hasn't lived up to where he was drafted, but he's still a good player. I wouldn't mind having him, that's for sure. Like, I'm with Kieran on that.
And you can probably get a good discount on him because he just hasn't lived up to potential. So,
and he's one of those things, like, I think on a team like the Raptors, it would really help him out too, based on the fact that, you know, it's more about building together, coming, like, you know, they don't play any hero ball or anything like that, so you can kind of like just join in with the squad. As long as you buy in, you're going to find a role.
Yeah, not to digress too much, but speaking of the off season, I don't know if you guys saw the news. Drew Holiday just resigned in Milwaukee. Big deal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think he had player options too. So. Yeah,
we didn't bring him up the other day, but he was one of the few, kind of game changers that might have been out there. And he got his second max deal, 4 years, $160 million, staying in Milwaukee.
Must be nice. Yeah. I think based on what they give Giannis, though, I don't think they have too much money left over to get anybody else. So could just be them two.
Yeah, no, and they locked into Middleton as well. I think they're all on max deals. So, you're right. They're not going to have a whole lot of flexibility going forward. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a weird big three on top of that. Like, obviously, it's a big one.
It's medium,
and then Drew Holiday is he's like a great all-around player. And then Middleton, if he's got that bugaboo about just disappearing in the playoffs, but if he ever shows up, they can make a run, assuming that they have anybody on the bench and it's not just, cast-offs and guys on veteran minimums, but we'll see.
All right.
Well, it's a good thing they re-signed him, too. They gave up, 3-4 first-round picks to New Orleans there for him, so...
Yeah, there you go.
You got to make sure you extend that guy. Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about New Orleans being the big one in on trying to get Beal out of... Washington, because basically they can offer a package that nobody else can. But that's an interesting little wrinkle to the offseason. Again, making us, you want to get them draft picks then, because there's not going to be a lot of guys to pick up.
Yeah, I don't think this game takes away from the whole tanking narrative, all that still. Like, it's just a win. Tomorrow, if anything, will be the big test. As Washington, they actually have a worse record than us, so that'll be the big, face-off of the two tanking teams.
Yeah, that hasn't meant a lot lately.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, that's a good point. But even more so now, so we'll see. I think that's definitely the way the rest of the season will play out. This is a good one that shows we can do this. So, these guys, it's good to at least know you can do this, even though you probably won't much for the rest of the season. So, yeah, I like this game.
Yeah. Oh, Kieran, the thing that you wanted to look for, it happened. Raptors win the rebound battle.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Convincingly.
38 for them. We had 53. 53? Okay, yeah.
Wiseman only had 5, I noticed. That was disappointing.
Yeah, and look what happens, the biggest blowout ever. But, again, but, show it to me tomorrow and I'll believe we can do this regularly. But definitely good to see. And good to, I could imagine winning like this and not winning in the rebound stat, but...
I'm not going to say it's because Chris Boucher was in the starting lineup, but, just saying.
That extra spark, I don't know.
Are you about to talk about Siakam there?
That's right. Well, first, a happy birthday, right? He was celebrating his 27th birthday, I'm pretty sure, on Friday, and he certainly made a night for himself. He just filled up the bucket with 36 points, and on a lovely side note, stuck it to Brendan in our weekly fantasy matchup.
If you guys haven't realized, Siakam and Boucher are on Ben's team, and we're playing this week, and it's a little tense because it's pretty tight, but I think I got it in the bag. So, doesn't matter about Friday, Ben. It's about the whole week.
That's right. We'll see how Sunday goes.
Okay, well, there was a couple of fun stats still. Even, I know this game didn't mean much, but we don't get to talk about big wins all that much, so I wanted a few more things. Somehow, the Warriors scored 0 fast break points.
Amazing.
Wow.
And somehow they had 6 points off turnovers, and there was 12 turnovers for the Raptors. So even when they had opportunities, it seemed like they just could not get the engine running there for Golden State. There's you can put together multiple of their quarters and them not matching up to the third quarter that the Raptors had.
Yeah, they were on a back-to-back, the second end of a back-to-back, I guess. But, definitely not moving their legs, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was just one of those games. Well, it's nice to see. Let's talk about a couple of things from it that, do have some interesting qualities. Kieran, you brought up Malachi Flynn there having, a bit better of a game, getting some time off the bench. Mm-hmm. I know he was pretty much just playing a G League game like he's used to, but did you see something from him that maybe he wasn't doing before?
Well, his 3-point shot's not there, so he's 1 for 4. But took 8 other shots, did really well on those. So shot 58% overall, 58.3, and I'm glad he wasn't just settling for nervous jump or 3-pointers trying to get his shot going. He was taking it to the basket a little bit more, getting some mid-range jump shots into key, things like that. So I think those are all big confidence boosting things. He's really small too, so he's going to have to learn to do that. Hopefully Lowry can teach him before he's on his way somewhere else, because he's undersized for any position. And you can see it. So we got him and Van Vliet, who also early on, I don't remember Van Vliet struggling with that all the time, just running under the net, running back out, dribbling with his head down kind of thing. So we at least have 2 other guards similar size so you can learn from, but definitely saw him being a bit more aggressive, taking it, driving basically, instead of just settling for threes or waiting outside.
Ben, was there anything that you saw specifically from Flynn that you liked better than what his performance was before?
Well, I mean, it was pretty the shots just started falling. He had 16 points, like Kieran said, 7 of 12, and most of them were from really in close. But he is separating himself from the rest of the bench. I think he was second on the team in minutes that night. After Freddie, he had 30. He played 30 minutes. So definitely looked a lot better. The 3-point shot isn't falling, but he's not really making it easy on himself either, right? He loves the pull-ups and stuff. He's not doing those catch and shoots in the corner. So it'll come, but I definitely like what I see. Now that we know Lowry's going to be out for a little bit longer, hopefully we'll see a little bit more of Flynn sanity here.
Well, there you go. Now, speaking of other Raptors that had a pretty good game, Gary Trent Jr. showed up again on the stat sheet. He got a lot of run this game, around 30 minutes as well. But 24 points. You got a steal, 2 blocks. That's kind of what you like to see. 6 from 9 from 3. Kieran, over the last 5 games, I think that's how many Gary's been with us. Or what have you seen that you think is going to make the Raptors a better team with this guy on it?
I mean, he's just almost been a sort of, with the exception of the first 2, a stat-wise, basically a Norman Powell. He's giving us exactly what we were losing with Norm Powell. This game is a perfect example of that. Some rebounds, not too many assists, some good defensive plays. It's just great. And again, he had 2 rough games at the start, which kind of looked bad coming out the gate, but obviously big transition, big change. It really looks like he's starting to fit in, and I think he'll He's got the good defense, which we require on the Raptors. He can play on the open court. We get a lot of fast breaks. I think it's looking more and more like this is going to be a good sort of long-term fit if it ends up going that way. And, without losing, obviously lost a great guy in Norm, but looks like we're getting something hopefully as good in return.
All right, fair enough. Ben, do you have anything to add to that? Is there something that you've been seeing from Gary Trent in the last few days that you want to talk about?
Kieran pretty much covered it all. He just, another really, really great game. It's starting to look like Masai Ujiri, pulled off another steal here. Mm-hmm. If he keeps this up, he's definitely going to get himself a payday here in the offseason. I think we said he's a restricted free agent, so keeps having more nights like this. That salary is just going to keep going up, but good for him. But yeah, it's looking like a steal. I know Norm Powell's fitting in pretty well in Portland. I read a little article about him. He's fitting in well over there as well. And I think they're 3-0 since the trade as well. So might look like a win-win for both teams. We'll see come playoff time for Portland. That's going to be the bigger question for them. More long-term for us. But great game from him. Loving the junior.
Yeah, no, it's good to see that he's starting to fit in and figuring out his role there. On another note, Lowry is probably out a week to 2 weeks with this foot thing. Unfortunately, it's one of those ones where I heard foot infection. Someone said foot soreness. It's not really an injury that we can get a diagnosis and say, well, usually this lasts this long to this long. Yeah. It's almost one of those ones that coaches just come up with when they're just trying to rest guys, but. Yeah. Obviously, we don't know much about it. If we find out anything specific, we'll let everybody know. But it just kind of seems like Lowry's going to be resting for the next 2 weeks, which is, a little unfortunate because they're about to get into a busy week here. And if they are doing the tanking, they're going to have to buck up because some teams look like they are tanking pretty hard. Ben, from around the league, did you see a couple of those games? Anything you want to talk about there as far as teams tanking?
Oh, the tank games? Well, the big one was last night. What was it, Utah and Orlando? I think they were down. It finished, it was about a 46-point spread there when it was all said and done. And everyone was making the joke, of course, like, hey, look what the Raptors can do. They put up 60 on Golden State. Well, Utah took their best shot last night. But yeah, definitely a lot of tanking there. Orlando's got traded, whatever it was, 80% of their starting roster on deadline day. So they're going into the draft hard. But yeah, that was the big one last night.
We're still tied with Houston for the worst in our last 10 though. So we're looking pretty good.
Yeah, not so bad. But it is funny. The teams that everybody assumed were going to be tanking have gone from that passive tank to the very active tank. Like Portland beat up an OKC 133-85. Utah beats Orlando 137-91. There's another one here. The Knicks destroyed Detroit 125-81.
Oh, yeah, okay. And Detroit beat us.
And Detroit and OKC beat us.
Just last week, yeah. Wow.
So watch tomorrow's game. It's going to be a big one.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Going into this week, it pretty much decides whether the full tankathon is on or if they're going to try to get into the play-in there, because I think it's 5 games this week and then 2 back-to-backs. Is that right, Ben?
That's right. Yeah, we got 2 back-to-backs, Monday, Tuesday, and then another pair of games on the weekend with the Thursday one as well. But yeah, it is hard to tell. I saw a funny stat today where we still have a positive net rating, so we really are straddling the line between the play-in and the full tank, as you said.
I feel like the back-to-backs are going to kill us, so that's like 2 losses right there probably. And then who's Thursday's game? Thursday is the Bulls, who are in a weird spot because they've played a couple less games than the Raptors, but they just did that big trade, but the pieces haven't quite meshed yet. So they've had some rough games lately. They, on paper, look like they're a better team than the Raptors as far as star power, etc. But Levine's kind of been crashing and burning since the All-Star break, so it's not a guarantee that
that's a loss. It's one of those things. They could definitely come out with that win there. The Lakers on the back end of the back-to-back obviously is going to be a little bit more difficult, but then the start of the next back-to-back on Saturday is Cleveland. So that's a game that they should win, and Cleveland is probably in full tank mode as well. And then it's the Knicks on Sunday. So as far as records go, this is probably going to be their easiest week coming up. But as
minus
far
the
as
back-to-back aspects, though.
Yeah,
but that's
the thing.
Team-wise, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I feel like if we get more than 2 wins, it's a mistake. Like we should.
Well, either you want to get either you want to get 1 win or 5 wins.
4. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like anything in the middle, and it doesn't really help, because the other thing is some of the teams that we're playing are the other teams that are tanking. So if they lose, it's actually kind of like they win. I don't know how to.
We definitely want to lose against Washington because they're behind us. So yeah, that'll be a 1 point or a full 2-point swing, 1 point swing. As opposed to the Lakers, which doesn't really. It's only a half a point, right? So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. With there's not going to be much in free agency, like we said. So if we are going to get anybody big, it's going to be through the trade. So let's get a better pick. Let's do what we can. If Kyle wants a month off, go for it.
Yeah, I say we beat the Lakers, lose the rest of the games. There you go.
Yeah, I was going to say I might actually be betting on the Raptors in that Lakers game. That's probably the only one.
They're pretty
it'll probably
busted
be a
up
nice
right now
value.
too.
And yeah, they're starting. They're full bench pretty much. No LeBron, no Anthony Davis. So.
Yeah, just back to the Bulls have lost 6 straight. So obviously they haven't won since that trade. It's not. It's going to be a weird week. The Raptors conceivably could come out of this with 5 wins, just based on the teams they're playing. Half of them are in that full tank, and they're the teams that were expected to go full tank. The Lakers are beat up, and the Bulls are reeling. They haven't quite figured out how to play together yet. So it's going to be a weird week. The Knicks, they're trying to win for sure, but they've been a team where sometimes they show up and they beat up on Detroit. Then other times no one plays other than Randall, and they get handled. So
yeah, no Lowry for us is a pretty big deal. It's just which is why there's another little push towards the loss column because obviously he's the general out there. So we'll see. It'll be an exciting one in a way.
Yeah, when we come back next Sunday, we'll probably have a much better idea where we're standing, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I was saying. And this is either we're going for the playoffs or we're tanking. This is what this week means. We just hope, like Kieran said, you don't want to come out of this with 2 wins or 3 wins or something like that, and you get blown out the other 2 games. You don't really know if you're gaining ground or losing ground.
Yeah, don't make the playoffs and get the worst chance at a lottery pick. So great.
Yeah, that's kind of like the old. Toronto teams are great at that. The Leafs used to finish 9th every freaking year.
Yeah.
And so you can never actually rebuild. But I'm excited to see this week. When we're broadcasting, we probably won't broadcast after every game. It'll be sort of like after the back-to-backs because you want to learn a little bit more about it. But we'll get at everybody a few times this week. There's not really too much. We're doing one early in the day. Ben, betting. Hey. Ben's betting corner. Chef's corner. What do we got?
Right. Who do we got today? Nice when we do the afternoon one. I got a full slate of money lines and everything to work with. So there's a good-looking one tonight in New Orleans. When I got in there this morning, it was a 4.5-point spread, and they're playing against Houston, who I've talked about, the dumpster fire they are. So 4.5 was a great spread to get on. It's already started moving. It's 5.5 now. So if you're going to get in there, you better act fast because I think they're going to blow that total out of the water. One other one I saw, and it's a little iffy, but they're not playing till later, is Philadelphia against Memphis. Right now it's a 3.5-point spread favoring Philly. But of course, so it's all going to rest on Joel Embiid. He came back after that injury last night. But it is a back-to-back, so you're going to want to wait till closer to tip-off, see if he plays. If he does, I think they give Memphis the business. And And yeah, that was about it for today. But are we going to get out of here without talking about that UCLA game last night?
Oh, here we go. A little college ball action. Kieran, did you watch that at all?
Just highlights afterwards. Once everyone started talking about it, I had to see what the fuss was about, and it was wild.
Ben, did you see that thing I sent you?
You're tanking for, right? Jalen Suggs.
Yeah, he's. Did you also see the video of him being a quarterback?
I did not know.
Because I guess he played high school ball, and there's like video of him doing, and he pretty much just like looks like a Lamar Jackson out there. He can bomb it all the way down the field and was sprinting around people. So it's, he's one of those guys where it's just, it doesn't matter. He could be out there playing freaking badminton and he'd be killing everybody.
Yeah.
Hate those guys. But yeah, what a wild finish, eh? That was just March Madness lived up to his name. That was crazy.
I don't understand how every ending to every college ball game is always just people falling all over the place and the ball flying up in the air. Like, it's never clean. It's always just a gong show. There's been a couple of good ones on Twitter about it, but yeah.
Yeah, they don't do the hacking at the end. They usually don't have any timeouts left and whatever. So, I don't know. Yeah, it was just crazy. Yeah, the inbound, and then he just sprints it up and banks it. Oh, crazy. Loved it. I hope they win it all now, even though I was going for the Bruins there. But
yeah, tomorrow night, eh?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be, always, March Madness is always a lot of fun. Hopefully it all works out pretty well there. And there's a little bit of exciting final there. You always hate when it's kind of like the Super Bowl if a team wins by like 60 points or something like that. You're like, well, this was a waste of time, and no one's excited about the championship anymore. So hopefully it's a tight one, and we get to watch some fun action. While we're watching the Raptors game at the same time.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
On that note, the championship game tomorrow and a couple of big Raptors games coming up. So make sure that you get your basketball watching in well here on a fine Easter Monday. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I'm here as always with Kieran Smythe.
Take care.
And Ben Harrison.
Have a great week. Enjoy the weather.
And as usual, we love you, B, and have a good rest of your weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.